Okay, so I haven't got any fucking PvP gankers on this.
It is too far away. I do not have a target. of range.
Hi, how are you? Be seeing you. You have a great day now.
What do you need? May your blades never dull.
Hey, how you doing? Time is money, friend. Have a good one. I got what you need.
Vegeta dead. Bardock says that's crazy talk. First of all, that was King Vegeta that did that. And second of all, Paragus stranded himself, didn't he? They just sent Broly off. Be mad at King Vegeta, and King Vegeta's dead, so don't be mad at all. Paragus tells Bardock he wouldn't understand, and Bardock doesn't understand. He's acting out for no reason at all. Why are they doing this? They're having a tantrum for no reason. This only pisses off Paragus even more. Maybe they deserve to be banished after all. Bardock can actually see what King Vegeta was thinking. This Broly kid, he has been uncontrollable. Sure, he's strong and all, but if he can't control that power, what's the use? And under a father like Paragus, he's more of a danger to everyone around him than anything. Plus, Paragus himself isn't a team player here. Maybe they did deserve to be on Vampa, although he can't really be mad at them. What King Vegeta did was still kinda unnecessary, but still, they shouldn't be acting out like this, especially against Vegeta. And Paragus stops fighting briefly. He tells him to decide, him and Broly or the other three. They can't have all of them. He's either gonna leave or those guys are gonna leave. Or they're gonna fight until one of the other groups dies. But Bardock's already made up his mind. Paragus, he's too much of a loose cannon. He's not even that strong anyways. They don't need him. And as for Broly, he would be a valuable asset. And Bardock does feel kind of bad. His father is such a terrible parent. Not that Saiyans are great parents anyways, but he's actually abusive to him. But he knows he can't separate the two. It's a tough situation, but Bardock has to make the choice. He tells Paragus to get off this planet. If they see him again, he better be calmed down and ready to join them. Or else, Bardock's gonna have to put him down. If Bardock could have it his way, he would just kill Paragus right now on the spot. It would make everything much easier. But he knows Broly wouldn't like that at all, and he'd have a grudge against them forever. Probably even killing them too. I mean, they've seen his strength, and if he gets mad, especially mad enough seeing Paragus die, yeah, then they're all dead here. But before they go, Bardock does one thing. He sees Paragus shock Broly, and then he goes up to Broly, breaking the collar. He tells Paragus he's on his own now. Learn to control that kid, and learn to control himself. Otherwise, Bardock doesn't care what happens to him. If he dies by Broly's hand, then so be it. Maybe he deserved it after all. Angered, Paragus ends up leaving. He has no other choice, so he picks up Broly, and they fly off to another planet. Vegeta thanks Bardock for his choice, and Bardock said he already decided a while ago. He needed Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz on the team, cause he knew they were strong after all. Even if they're not as strong as him at the moment, they are still close. Well, maybe not Raditz and Nappa, but Vegeta definitely is. And Raditz is his son after all. So he knows he can trust Raditz. Plus, these three do have valuable information. They were part of the Frieza Force for longer after all. They're up 3 people, but they are down 2. Simple math, there's 1 more person overall. Not too bad. It's not like their ranks are smaller, so it's not a total loss. Paragus wasn't a team player after all. But Broly could have been really helpful, and it would have been better if he were there. Vegeta appreciates what Bardock did though. He knows they may not deserve the courtesy, but it's better to stick together after all. And at first, Vegeta wouldn't like the idea of a low-class Saiyan beating him, but he's gonna have to put that aside for this. It's not like the situation in the Saiyan saga where he was fighting Goku. They were just testing each other's power, and they're all working towards a better cause. They have the same goal of trying to defeat Frieza. At least for now, Vegeta's gonna put his pride aside, and his crew has a lot of info just like Bardock expected. And the first thing that they explain is that they're probably short on time. Vegeta estimates that they have a week or 2. Damn, that short? Well, yeah. If Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz don't return to Frieza, he's gonna assume they're dead and probably whoever was here killed them. Which would mean Frieza would probably want to seek them out and actually kill them instead. He would see whoever's here as a threat, because that is why he sent this crew here in the first place. He expected them to die anyways. He just wanted to use them as bait mostly. Well, even though they don't have much time, they could at least make use of it. Training a bit, that could help. They're not gonna get too strong in this time period. I mean, even with the healing powers of Monito and some healing pods that they were able to scrap, whatever training they do won't be incredibly efficient, especially because they can't injure themselves too much. Yeah, even if they can be healed, what if someone's put out of commission to the point where they actually can't heal for a long time? And while they're being healed by either Monito or those healing pods, Frieza shows up. That would be a very bad situation, so they need to train lightly. They need to conserve their stamina and not take too much damage. But even so, a few weeks of light training wouldn't be too bad. So, training begins. A week passes, then another, and another. Vegeta's actually pretty surprised. Frieza's not showing up. He definitely expected him by this time. They have been planning all this time too. It's not like they've just been twiddling their thumbs. And Vegeta finally sees now. Maybe Frieza just sent them here to die. Maybe he didn't care about the people here. As long as he had an excuse to get rid of the Saiyans, that's really all he cared about. Well, in the meantime, they can at least train some more because now they don't need to worry about Frieza. But just as they're about to start, everyone then senses something. Yep, there it is. Vegeta's estimate was a little bit off. But just like they expected, Frieza's army begins showing up. A bunch of ships appear in the sky. And Vegeta chuckles. There it is. Bardock turns to everyone else, asking if they're ready. Of course they're ready. They've been preparing years for this. The Saiyans shoot down all the ships. All the Frieza Force soldiers are dispatched with no effort at all, like literally no effort at all. The only people that would be an issue are Zarbon and Dodoria, but even they could be killed probably by one shot. And there's only one ship left. A hatch opens on the top of the ship, with Frieza in his chair hovering out. At first, he has a very shocked expression, but that shock turns to disgust. He realizes what this is. Saiyans, and not just a few of them, a lot of them, including Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz. They deserted the Frieza Force, and these other guys too. They escaped under his nose. That explains his sense of anxiety. He's been feeling something itching at him for so long. Of course, he didn't know that there was actually anyone out there. But he was just concerned that maybe some people escaped, and this only confirms his suspicions. If anything, this is good. It quells that anxiety. And also, he's gonna be able to kill some Saiyans now. It's actually pretty nice.
Een paar maanden maar eens kijken hoe het er dan voor staat.
1999.
Ja, hij was 1440 gulden in die tijd. En hij is nu 1246 euro, als ik het goed heb, is ongeveer. Ja, hij wordt gemiddeld met 3% ieder jaar verhoogd.
Wat betekent dat voor jou?
Dat het nu, met mijn positie waar ik nu financieel in zit, dat het eigenlijk niet meer te betalen is. Het is gewoon heel veel.
Ferry de Jong en Marianne Hanekroot wonen in Haarlem.
We wonen hier sinds 2014. Een mooie buurt, fijne straat, prima wonen. Alleen jammer van de huurverhoging.
De huurverhoging is in het begin 1 keer geweest, toen 1 of 2 jaar niet. En daarna weer, nou, de laatste paar jaar gewoon elk jaar verhoogd.
We betaalden toen 1550 en nu betalen we
1711.
Ik denk iedere keer weer van ja, verdorie, ga ik weer omhoog. Terwijl eigenlijk er in het huis helemaal niks wordt gedaan. Tenminste, wat ik vraag, doen ze niet. Het is allemaal voor mijn eigen rekening. Het enige wat ze aan onderhoud doen is een beetje aan de buitenkant, omdat dat natuurlijk nodig is. Maar ik snap niet zo goed waarom de huur verhoogd wordt, nee.
Zowel Louise als Ferry en Marianne wonen in een vrije sector huurwoning. Bij sociale huurwoningen betaal je maximaal 808 euro per maand. In de vrije huursector zit er geen maximum aan de huur. En er is nog een belangrijk verschil.
Voor mensen die meer geld hebben is de vrije sector bedoeld. En daar gelden anders dan voor de sociale sector geen regels over de huurprijsverhoging. Dus die moet je zelf afspreken met je verhuurder.
Het recht om de huurprijs te verhogen zet de verhuurder in de huurovereenkomst. De algemene of aanvullende voorwaarden met een zogeheten prijswijzigingsbeding.
In alle huurovereenkomsten in de vrije sector zijn...
Might be a win-win for him. Even though he just lost his entire army, whatever. He feels a sense of relief, and also a sense of excitement. But above all, he feels anger. No, not just anger, rage. A murderous rage. He screams. The force of this is so powerful too, it creates a shockwave even. But the Saiyans aren't deterred. They all launch towards him. And at first, Frieza's smug, ready to defend against them. But then he notices a glowing ball of light in the sky. As the Saiyans launch towards him, they all turn into great apes. Before he can even react, he's then sniped by 2 people from somewhere. It hits him right in vital points, stunning him temporarily. What the hell? This pain! He doesn't know what this is, and he doesn't know where he was hit from. Muesli and Granola landed the first attack, providing support. And now, the Great Apes close in. Their goal is to kill him right now. As Saiyans, they would want to enjoy a fight. That would be amazing, but they know they can't do that here. First of all, this happened a lot earlier than they planned, and second of all, even if this did happen at the time that they planned, well, they want to make sure Frieza dies. Enjoying a fight comes second. Frieza's death is the most important thing regardless. And they need to be extra safe here because it is earlier. Frieza's being attacked by so many people from so many angles. He can't even keep track of what's going on. And if it's not the apes, he's then sniped from different places. Muesli and Granola continuously move around too. When the apes aren't right in front of him, he's then shot by someone. He can't see them either. And it's always in a vital point. The group is ready to kill him now. They're doing a bunch of damage. And they're able to wear Frieza down. It hurts for him to move, even if he can move because he keeps getting stunned by different attacks all at once. Plus, fighting all these great apes. I mean, consider the odds he's up against. It's everyone's power multiplied by 10 for each of them. And they're just about to land the finishing blow on Frieza, until he transforms. Great, just like they expected. They knew that he had transformations, maybe even multiple, but it doesn't matter because they planned for that anyways. They knew that he might transform, and they already dealt a significant amount of damage. Even if he is stronger right now, that doesn't really matter. It's not like this healed him. That damage is still going to transfer over. He doesn't just go into his second form either. No, he goes into his third form too. It looks terrifying, and the power that goes along with it is just as scary. and for a brief moment the Saiyans are a bit deterred, but it's only a brief split second of hesitation, because the Great Apes immediately start attacking again. Frieza's now on an even playing field. Even though he is injured, this power is definitely going to help compensate. He tries going for the Saiyans' tails, to make them de-transform, but of course they knew he was going to do this in the first place. And it's strange too, sometimes he even tries to launch ranged attacks. Like he'll create a disc of ki to throw at the tails, but as soon as he does it, while the ki is flying midair, it's sniped by Muesli or Granola, and he still doesn't know where these snipers are. Not to mention the fact that the Saiyans are protecting their tails too, keeping them as secure as possible and protecting their allies as much as they can. But at this point, Muesli and Granola realize that they might not be as helpful anymore. They are strong, and they are able to see Frieza's vital points. But he's so powerful now that it might not even matter. Muesli tries to hit him again at a vital point. And it does a bit of damage, but Frieza's actually surprised. That didn't hurt that much this time, and now he knows where the sniper is. And with his great speed too now, just as another attack's about to hit him, he turns over to where the snipers are, finding them. For a split second before they disappear, and before a bunch of apes jump in front of him, he sees it's two Ceruleans. So this isn't just a Saiyan rebellion. No, this might be a rebellion of multiple people. But how many others are there? Is this everyone? Or are there others hiding about just like those two? And is this one of many planets, or is this just the only planet? He doesn't know. Frieza's racking his mind as he continues fighting. But fine. Sarcastically, he commends them for their effort. They did actually do some damage to him, which he's surprised about. But of course, he's feigning this courtesy. He's obviously very pissed. And if they want to rebel, well, he's gonna give them a challenge. He's not gonna let them do it so easily. This isn't his final form. If they want to see his final form, then so be it. And one more time, he transforms, going from his third form into his fourth one. The Saiyans look on. Well, this is it, the pinnacle of his power, or at least part of it. Of course, he's only at 50% right now. But Bardock tries to gauge everything. Okay, this might not be that bad. They already dealt a lot of damage to him, and even though his power has shot up dramatically, maybe that'll be a good handicap. The odds actually seem stacked against them now. Before in his first form, it was going to be easy. Hell, even in his second and third form, they could have defeated him. But in his final form, Bardock's not too sure. But again, he can't be deterred. They've already made it this far, and there's only two outcomes to this fight right now. Either they somehow pull through and win, or they all die. Whether they try and escape or not, those are going to be the only two options regardless. So, there's no backing down now. The second Frieza arrived, they went beyond the point of no return. This is it. This is everything that the rebellion has been leading up to. Everything they've worked for in the past few years. All the power, ideas, and resources that they've accumulated. All the time they spent surviving. Everything leads up to this point. They can't fail. Bardock gets another rush of determination. He's ready to do this. He bellows out to Frieza. This is his deathbed. But just as he yells this, he feels a sharp pain in his back. Specifically where his tail is, or was. A death beam pierces right through it, slicing his tail clean off. Bardock then begins de-transforming. The rest of the Great Apes keep attacking Frieza, but Bardock goes back into his base form. Damn it, they're down a Great Ape. But still, that doesn't change Bardock's mind. He's gonna fight here, to the death or to victory, whatever that may be. And one more time, he tries yelling out to Frieza. Frieza turns around seeing Bardock. Oh, this must be the guy leading the group. He looks pretty plain, like a normal low-class Saiyan. Who would have thought that he would have been leading a rebellion, especially with someone like Vegeta under his command? Frieza's amused and looks over towards him, smiling. Well, he has some time to discuss with this man. Frieza chuckles seeing Bardock transform. He's gonna do this to the rest of the Saiyans too, just to make sure he doesn't have to deal with those Great Apes anymore. But looking at Bardock, he might have to save that for later. This Saiyan, he's the ringleader. He's the pest behind all of this. Maybe he should set an example of him. Before he goes after the other Saiyans, he focuses on Bardock. Not trying to kill him, of course, killing him would be very easy right now. He's gonna make him suffer. He wants the other Saiyans to see. This is the result of his rebellion. His stupid little foolish rebellion. There was no way this was gonna work. Bardock is attacked head-on by Frieza. Of course, the others try and help, but Bardock has nothing he can do against this. In his current state, without the power of a Great Ape either, anything he does against Frieza does absolutely nothing. He's continuously beat up, with Frieza prolonging it as long as he can. This will be fun, a nice way to vent his frustrations before he kills the others. He does commend Bardock though. He's surprised that he remained under the radar this long, and survived it all. He was smart enough, unlike those other stupid Saiyans, to see through his little plan. He knew that it was a trap getting all the Saiyans back on planet Vegeta. But either way, Frieza's happy. It worked out for the best in the end, because even though these Saiyans did escape, now they're all together, and he has a valid excuse to kill Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz. Not that he didn't have one before, but this just gives them the push they needed to actually kill them, dispose of those Saiyans once and for all, make them extinct. As all this is going on, a ship arrives back unnoticed on the planet. Muesli looks on confused, not even realizing. One of the ships departed, and now it's back and it's Monito on it. He was able to escape undercover, and by the time he came back, he realized now that everything's much worse. Damn it, he should have just stayed there and did this. But whatever, now he has the Dragon Balls with him. It's kind of dangerous to have them here next to Frieza, but he's gonna make the wish, and he's gonna make it quick. Even though Bardock didn't necessarily want it, it might be best to wish for Bardock to be immortal. He wanted the Dragon Balls here in case they needed to revive someone, but now he's gonna use it for this. He might not be strong enough to defeat Frieza, but with his Saiyan power getting Zenkai boost and all, becoming immortal would heal him, and eventually he would grow stronger the longer he fights Frieza. Monito's not too sure though, but he has to decide. If he tries to escape by ship now, well, he'd be noticed. If he stayed on planet Cereal, he could have done this without interference. But he didn't realize things got this bad. He gets the two Dragon Balls together, summoning the dragon. Taranbo appears, and Monito makes the wish. Of course, this doesn't go completely unnoticed. With the dragon appearing in the sky, everyone knows what's going on, and Monito's location is exposed. Just as Taranbo grants the wish, a massive beam of energy is sent right through him, destroying the dragon. Monito turns around. There's a look of fear in his face as he sees Frieza there. Frieza watches as the two Dragon Balls come back down to the ground, turning into stone. Damn it, the wish orbs exist and they're here too? He could have used them for himself. He grabs Monito, asking him what he wished for. Monito's helpless to do anything against him, but he tells Frieza. He won't be able to defeat Bardock now. Bardock then appears behind Frieza, with his wounds fully healed. What is this? Monito apologizes to Bardock, saying that he went against his request. He knows that Bardock didn't want anyone to become immortal. But it was the only way. Immortality? Frieza can't even process this. Immediately, he kills Monito, right in front of Bardock. He then turns to Bardock, launching a barrage of death beams. These beams pierce through Bardock, his chest, his head, everywhere in his body. He's completely skewered, and he screams out. But then his wounds, they heal immediately. It worked, and Frieza's shocked too. And he also just inadvertently made Bardock a bit stronger. Not just by hurting him, but also by showing him Monito's death. Bardock is enraged. He's already been infuriated, but now it's gone to a new level. The other Great Apes come over to the area, seeing what's happened, and they attack. Bardock's now stronger than before, having been healed twice by now. Frieza continuously tries to kill him, focusing on Bardock and not the other Saiyans. He even goes into his full power, trying to use all the abilities he can to actually kill Bardock. Bardock is maimed. He's continuously injured, and of course, being immortal doesn't mean he can't feel its pain. But he doesn't care, because he keeps coming back from death, and he knows he'll defeat Frieza this way. The others watch on too, horrified, and Frieza then realizes, well, if this isn't gonna work, he knows something that will. He can at least dispose of those other Saiyans. Only Bardock's immortal. And before he could even attack them, he's sniped again by Muesli and Granola. These two as well. You know what? These Cerealians, they'll be the first. He lifts up a finger, a death beam at Muesli. Bardock tries to jump in front of it, but it's already too late. It goes through him and then hits her. Granola looks on in disbelief. Frieza aims at him next, knocking Bardock away with a blast of compressed air. One of the apes runs over to Granola to save him. It's Leek. He gets shot by Frieza. Frieza begins laughing maniacally. He's lost all sense of sanity. He turns over to the others. They all try and attack in one last desperate attempt. But now the tides are turning. Everyone in Bardock's squad falls besides Tor. Nappa falls. And even when they're attacked, they still try to keep fighting. But Frieza's being brutal about it. He can't kill Bardock, but he can kill all these other Saiyans and make Bardock watch, helpless to do anything against it. Sure, he might have gotten a bit stronger from becoming immortal, but as he is now, his attacks are pointless against Frieza. If Frieza keeps attacking him, it's not going to accomplish anything. It's only going to make things worse. He makes sure to immobilize Bardock instead, continuously hitting him with attacks that don't injure him, but just keep him at bay. Bardock watches as his squad mates die, as well as the other Saiyans there, and all these people he's come to know over time. Frieza then makes eye contact with one of the Saiyans. It's a young one. He looks a bit determined, but also scared. And that hairstyle. Wait a second. That's his son. That has to be. He looks exactly like Bardock. He stretches out a hand, using telekinesis to bring Kakarot towards him. Gine tries to grab him to save him. But as she does so, Frieza puts up another finger, shooting her tail off as she reverts to her base form. Bardock is still kept at bay, and Gine tries to save Kakarot. She seems very fond of the Saiyan. Maybe she's the mother of this child. How cute. He's breaking apart this happy little family. He asks Bardock, who would he like to see die first? His spawn or his wife? Bardock tries to attack again. He's relentless, but still, his strength isn't enough, although he is getting stronger. His rage is reaching a new height, having seen all these people die now, and having him and his family threatened like this. He feels something weird within him. And Frieza's unamused. It's fun watching Bardock struggle, But he decides to try something. He throws Kakarot up into the sky. Quickly, Rat is able to grab onto him before Frieza could shoot him down, launching an attack back at Frieza that does nothing. It does distract him though, and Gine then jumps into attack too. But as she does so, Frieza simply draws a hand back, then extending it through her chest. What a pity. Her death would have been painless if she didn't resist. He tosses her aside, then looking at Bardock. He has a twisted grin on his face, but it begins changing. Bardock stares on blankly. His eyes widen, and the rest of the Saiyans can sense that something's wrong. Vegeta and Raditz look on. His power, it's increasing, isn't it? Raditz feels sorrow for the death of Gine, and he feels rage. He wants to go in and attack Frieza, but he knows he can't. Thankfully, he saved Kakarot at least, who's now unconscious. Raditz tries to control his rage, and hopes that Bardock can control his, but obviously Bardock has a much closer connection to Gine than Raditz does. And his reaction is a lot more visceral, for a lack of a better word. The ground around him cracks. He looks over at Gine, then to Frieza. This has to be a nightmare. He looks over at Gine, then to Frieza. This rebellion, it was supposed to work. But all around him, it's just death. He looks to Gine, then to Frieza. What did he do? Did Bardock cause this? His eyes, they keep darting back and forth. Thoughts run through his head frantically. And then, an overpowering scream. The survivors get back, watching as a brilliant yellow glow illuminates the area. And seemingly, Bardock disappears. The yellow glow goes away too, then appearing above Frieza. Frieza can't react in time. He looks up, and all he sees is Bardock's face. The expression that Bardock has. The pure anger and malice. It actually kind of scares Frieza for a second, but then he notices too. That's not the only thing. His hair, it's golden. His eyes, they've changed color. His aura, he has a golden key around him. Frieza can't even process these thoughts, and the milliseconds that have passed since Bardock teleported over to him, it's already too late. He's sent flying down to the ground. A powerful punch connects with his face, once again creating another shockwave that knocks everyone back. But before Frieza even connects with the ground, Bardock then meets him there. Frieza can't even open his eyes in time. Bardock's knee connects with his back. It feels like it completely breaks. The force of this would be enough to send Frieza flying once again, but Bardock makes sure that doesn't happen. Before Frieza's sent flying upwards, Bardock grabs his tail, slamming him down into the ground with such force that it creates a giant divot. Vegeta, Raditz, and Tora look on, making sure to protect the unconscious Kakarot and Granola. And it hits Vegeta. That's it. He turns over to Raditz. This has to be a Super Saiyan, right? Well, yeah, but Raditz can't believe it. I mean, it does make sense though. The power that he's giving off, the transformation. Maybe it wasn't a legend after all, but a low-class Saiyan like Bardock? They're amazed. Tora thinks the same thing too, his squad leader. He always knew he was a powerful and formidable opponent. But this? He's never seen this, anything like it for that matter. The strength, the power coming off of him, it's unfathomable. And they can see what's happening, that visceral reaction that he had. Not to say that Vegeta, Raditz, and Tora didn't feel the same rage too. I mean, Tora just watched his whole squad die. But as for Vegeta and Raditz, they weren't particularly close with these people, although this battle has made them enraged, but not to the point of Bardock's rage. Consider the positions Bardock's in, his whole rebellion, everything he's worked towards, it's all falling apart right now. And on top of that, his squad mates are dead, his comrades. These people he saved, Muesli and Monito, and most of all, his wife. This was more than enough to make him transform, ascending beyond where he is now, becoming a Super Saiyan. Bardock didn't even realize it himself. He let his rage control him, bringing him to this point to fight Frieza. But he stops mid-battle and notices. His strength, it's increased so much, and he can see what's going on now. This overwhelming power within him, the one that exploded out not too long ago, without him even realizing. He's done it. He's become a Super Saiyan. But surprisingly, he doesn't even care. He doesn't care that he became a Super Saiyan. There's only two things that he's feeling right now, with one overpowering the other. The most prominent one being rage, with a touch of underlying sadness. And in terms of objectives, he doesn't care about the Super Saiyan right now. The only goal that he has right now is to kill Frieza, by any means necessary. As Frieza is continuously beaten by Bardock, to the point where he can't even fight back, he realizes this was a self-fulfilling prophecy. He did this. He should have finished off the Saiyan when he had the chance, but he didn't. He had that chance, even though Bardock escaped and started this rebellion. Frieza had them right there. He could have won. He could have just blown up this planet. He didn't need to make it personal. He shouldn't have let his emotions control him, and he shouldn't have spent time toying with Bardock. The fear he feels is amplified. Not just because the Super Saiyan exists, but the fact that he was the reason that it exists now. The fact that he created the Super Saiyan. He tries to fight back, but nothing works. The unimaginable pain he feels prevents him from fighting back. And even if he could, he probably can't even do anything against Bardock at this point. He's so injured. While Bardock is completely reinvigorated, But Bardock knows it's time to finish this. He's not gonna make that mistake that Frieza did. He's gonna finish this before it gets too late. He lifts up a hand, charging a blue ball of energy. All of his rage and determination. He's materializing it into this attack. He runs up to Frieza with immense speed, sticking an elbow out, hitting him right in the stomach. The angle throws him up off the ground for a bit. And as Frieza comes back down to the surface, the attack is charged. Bardock flings his other hand forward, launching the attack. The power in it is insane. Enough to completely erase every little bit of Frieza. Nothing is left. In silence, Bardock looks on as the attack dissipates. The sound of Frieza's screams and the explosion go away. And now, there's nothing. The others look on in awe, not even knowing what to say or do. They're also speechless. Without saying anything, he simply turns around, looking over to them with a seemingly blank expression. But they can see his anger and his sadness. They're still there. He de-transforms. His hair falls down, going back to the same black it was before. They won. But at what cost did they win? It wasn't supposed to turn out like this, and Bardock can't help but feel the guilt for it. All those people died because of him. He says this too. He can't feel proud about this victory. This was a loss. But Raditz chimes in. This wasn't a loss. All these people, even if they did die during this battle, it wasn't because of him, it was because of Frieza. And they would have died before if he didn't save them. Hell, all of them would have been dead by now if not. He killed Frieza. He has to realize how amazing that is. But still, nothing can get rid of this guilt for Bardock. Although, Vegeta then jumps in too. Don't they have the Wish Orbs? No, they're gone alongside Monito. Well, if the Wish Orbs exist though, maybe they'd exist somewhere else too. Maybe Monito's wasn't the only set of it. Bardock looks up for a second, but he doesn't want to have too much hope. He doesn't think that's actually going to happen. But maybe Vegeta's right. I mean, they could go to another planet, maybe somewhere like Namek, or maybe there's a Namekian somewhere else with a set of Dragon Balls. Despite the deaths here, they could probably reverse it. Again, Bardock doesn't want to be too hopeful, but what else are they supposed to do now? They accomplished their goal of the rebellion. Maybe they can actually bring everyone back, but that remains to be seen. This is going to take a lot of time, and they're not even sure if any Dragon Balls exist anywhere else for that matter. But for now, they don't have to worry anymore. They don't have to be in fear of Frieza. Of course, King Cold is still out there, and there's probably other threats too. But with Bardock at the helm, they'll be fine. Not only is he a Super Saiyan, but he's immortal, even if he doesn't want to be. So, where will this lead them next? Some time passes after Frieza's defeat. Kakarot and Granola regain consciousness. They are injured, but they're safe, and Bardock's glad. At least these two are fine, as well as some of the other Saiyans that are still alive with him. They did have some losses, but it wasn't a complete loss. Although, he still does have some of that guilt that I mentioned in the last part. The two kids are filled in as well, and Kakarot's anger that he couldn't do anything to help, and that he was the cause of this. You gotta remember too, Kakarot's pretty young at this point, but he's still a teenager. He would know what he's doing in these fights. He might still look like a kid, but he really isn't. And he feels like he could be doing more. And of course he can grasp the concept of what happened. But he holds back his anger. It's pointless now to let it out, since everything's already been done. Raditz also feels ashamed too. He didn't show the same emotion. Seeing Kakarot react like this, it makes him realize he kind of regrets not knowing his family. Of course, this is pretty normal for Saiyans. They don't really care too much about their families and they just go off on their own, fighting in battle and whatever. But Raditz gets to see this connection his family has with each other. Kakarot reacting like that to Guine's death. Bardock reacting like that too. It's so un-Saiyan-like. And something about it is intriguing to Raditz, but also it makes him sad. Should he have gotten to know his family better? I mean, it's not really his fault, but he thinks about it. He doesn't really know them too well besides Bardock maybe. But either way, even if he does decide he wants to get to know them better and grow closer to them, maybe he can be different. This is his chance after all. I mean, he's here with his brother and father after all, and he is one of the survivors of this whole Frieza thing, so maybe he can make up for that. Of course, Guine's gone, but they're trying to bring her back, and he can still at least bond with these two. The other Saiyans try and pick up the pieces, recuperating and all, as well as getting healed. They're surprised all the stuff here is still intact, as well as all their resources. Frieza could have easily blown up this rock floating in space, as well as everything around it, so it's surprising that they made it out decently okay. But where do they go from here? It's like what was suggested before. Maybe they could look for more Dragon Balls, but there's an issue. They don't know where to look. So obviously there's a few options, but they wouldn't know about any of them besides Namek, and even then, they don't know where Namek is. So that's kind of out of the picture. They have no clue of where to look for Namek. There is Earth, and they do know of Earth, but they don't know that there's any Namekians there, much less any Dragon Balls. So that might be out of the picture too, at least for now. They have no idea of where to go otherwise, but for now, maybe they could at least tie up some loose ends. Even though Frieza's dead, there's still one more person they need to kill, King Cold. With the group now healed, they did get a lot stronger, and Bardock tries to tap into Super Saiyan more and more. And it's kind of hard to maintain, but he does have access to it, actually. And it's surprising. He can use this now. Use it at will, too. And it's an amazing power, especially with the boost in strength he got after healing. They head out into space, finding more of Frieza's soldiers along the way, being sure to eliminate everyone that they come across. Some of the army is still out there. Of course, they did eliminate most of it because there was a huge assault on this planet. But there's other big names that they're able to take out, eventually getting info out of them to find out where King Cold is. But King Cold heard of all this by now. By the time that Frieza went there, he of course knew what Frieza's plan was, and he notices that his troops are dwindling. But he doesn't care. Frieza must have just been a weakling. There's no way he could have lost to some lowly Saiyans, right? Well, King Cold doesn't know about the Super Saiyan. Because eventually Bardock does arrive there, alongside his crew, and King Cold mocks them too. It's only a couple Saiyans. Did they actually kill Frieza? There's no way, there has to be something else here. And Bardock tells him, yeah, they did kill Frieza, but there is something else he's missing. Has King Cold heard of a Super Saiyan? King Cold's taken aback. They're bluffing, right? There's no Super Saiyan. Really now? Bardock powers up, showing this form off without saying anything at all. King Cold recoils in fear. No. This is some trick. This isn't real. He denies it, even though it's right in front of him. But then he receives a punch from Bardock. Feeling the pain from that attack, this is very real. He tries to fight back, and Bardock's actually surprised. Wow, Frieza might have been more of a challenge than this guy, partially because Bardock is stronger now. But he also expected more, and he tells King Cold he'll at least make his death quicker than what Frieza's was like. But he still doesn't want to get his revenge. King Cold is killed effortlessly, with the rest of the group watching on. They're just amazed at Bardock's power. They can't even really do anything here. When his power is compared to theirs, well, he's in a completely different league now. It's incredible. Bardock powers down. To think that he just effortlessly killed King Cold, they would have never thought they'd see a day like this. Bardock turns back to them after killing Cold, and he's about to ask, what's the next step for them? But before he can even finish what he's trying to say, Vegeta just dematerializes. Wait, what? They watch on in disbelief as Vegeta literally just disappears. What the hell? What, is this some new technique, some prank of his? But they can't sense his power either. He's nowhere near here. And this is concerning for multiple different reasons. Besides the obvious fact that Vegeta just randomly disappeared, they don't know why he disappeared. It just happened out of the blue. And did he, teleport away? Did he die? Did he just, dematerialize or something? What the hell happened? Everyone is freaking out because they have no idea of what happened and who's next. There might be some threat out there. Someone that could just do this to fighters. And they're all on alert, anxious now. They don't know what they just witnessed. And while they're on guard, they get back to their ship. Regardless of what happened, they're scared now, and they leave this planet. It couldn't have been anyone else in King Cold's forces, right? I mean, they killed everyone, including King Cold himself. And if there was someone that strong to just kill someone with one attack like that, they would know by now. But that didn't even seem like an attack. It's just like he disappeared, like he teleported somewhere. And they are anxious, but as time passes, they realize that they're fine. Nothing's happening to them, but still, where the hell did Vegeta go? They are still flipping out. And they go back to their base of operations, trying to see if they can do anything to locate him. He didn't have a scouter on either, so it's not like he can actually contact them if he did go somewhere. But again, they don't know where he is, if he even is anywhere. Until a few days later, suddenly, they sense a power surging. It's very far away, and it's very faint. But even though it is faint, they sense it. It's a beacon, it's a distress signal, and it's from none other than Vegeta. They can sense it. That's definitely his power. Not knowing what else to do, Bardock powers up in response, going Super Saiyan even. Hopefully this will get to Vegeta, and hopefully he'll get the message that they could sense him. Hang on, Vegeta. They're gonna save him. But what happened to Vegeta? Where is he? Well, let's rewind back a few days, back to when Vegeta was teleported away, because that's what happened. When he's teleported away, he arrives in a strange new location. He sees a dark sky, and he sees a giant dragon. Oh, what the hell? Is that what he thinks it is? No, it can't be. But why would he be, what? He doesn't even know what to think. There's so many thoughts are going through his head. What the hell is going on? The dragon disappears, saying your wish has been granted. The sky turns to normal, and then Vegeta looks behind him. There's a girl standing there. She looked equally confused, and Vegeta asked what the hell's going on. He was in the middle of something important. Why was he brought here? What kind of wish did she make? He wants to know right now. And she says she wished for the perfect boyfriend. Honestly, she expected something kind of different. Like, what is this guy? He has a tail too? And Vegeta's taken aback by this. Flustered even. What, boyfriend? But Bulma does find him kind of cute. And Vegeta says he wants to stop all this nonsense. He wants to know why he's truly here. That's the reason. She just asked Shenron for a wish. After all this time, she finally got the Dragon Balls, being able to summon him and ask for a wish. She had the Dragon Balls before, and had spent years trying to collect them because the Pilaf gang got in the way, as well as the Red Ribbon Army. But thankfully they were stopped by some valiant warriors. And now, that left her open to get the Dragon Balls all by herself. Wait, the Wish Orbs? Like, they exist here? Yeah, she tells him more. Holy crap. This might actually be great. This might be exactly what they're looking for. He wants to know more immediately, as well as more about this planet. But first, she learns more about him, who he is and what he is. He's an alien, he's a Saiyan. He's not even human. Oh, so Shenron just kidnapped someone and brought him here. She thought he was gonna like materialize a boyfriend or something. Now she feels bad, but hey, maybe if Shenron did it, it will still work. And Vegeta can't lie, he's kind of attracted to her too, but that's besides the point. Although, this is kind of nice. He was brought here and he has a girlfriend, maybe? He doesn't know, but whatever. That's besides the point still. He needs to get back to where the Saiyans are. He doesn't care about this right now. He doesn't have a scouter on him and he has no way of contacting the Saiyans. But then, he thinks of something. There's only one thing that he could try right now. Power up. Act as a beacon. And he does so. And sure enough, after doing this, he senses a much larger power. It's very faint because it's so far away in space, but he could tell. It's Bardock. Vegeta then powers down. Looks like he's gonna have to wait for them to get here because he seems to be pretty far from where they are. Maybe a few days or so. But after powering up, other people begin arriving. Bulma actually recognized them too because along her quest for the Dragon Balls, she met these people. Gohan, Roshi, and even Krillin. And they're surprised to see her too, wondering what she wished for. She's kind of embarrassed and she says she'll tell them later because it's kind of a stupid wish. But more importantly, they sense this strength and it's unlike anything they've ever sensed before. It is literally unearthly. It was actually kind of terrifying when they think about it. They wanted to make sure everything's okay. And Gohan immediately sees this guy has a tail. He asks Vegeta, by any chance, is he a Saiyan? Vegeta raises an eyebrow. He knows about Saiyans? Well, yeah. And Gohan tells him, long ago, some other Saiyan came here because he accidentally sent his kid here trying to escape from something. The kid's name was Kakarot, and the guy's name was Bardock, he thinks. Vegeta immediately perks up. Yeah, Bardock and Kakarot. He was just with them. He's from their crew. Gohan's delighted, until he hears everything that happened. Vegeta begins explaining. Of course, the rebellion against Frieza was successful, but a lot of people died. Of course, many people died against Frieza regardless, but they've been gone for so long and they still are normal Saiyans, so they're not really sure if they should revive them. What they really want to do now is revive the others in the rebellion, the people they actually know and have grown to care about. Well, there's some bad news. While Shenron could do that, he's gonna have to wait a year. Plus, he has to wait for the Saiyans to get here too. But in the meantime, they invite him to something. There's a tournament going on. Well, he might have to keep himself entertained regardless, because he does have to wait a few days, maybe a few weeks for the Saiyans to get here. So, he'll go to this tournament, just to see what it is. Sounds fun, watching people fight, and apparently this kid, Krillin right here, he's gonna get involved. Krillin bows to greet Vegeta, and Vegeta doesn't really know how to react, so he acknowledges it. This kid is gonna fight in a tournament, and yeah, he does. Vegeta watches on, and Krillin actually makes it pretty far into the tournament, going to the finals, fighting some guy named Tenshinhan. But Vegeta's not really impressed. Of course, everyone else is amazed. Holy crap, Krillin is strong, as well as this Ten guy. Even without Goku there, Krillin has become a very strong warrior. But it's still not enough to win here, and Ten's actually able to defeat him. But Vegeta doesn't really care, actually, because he watches the tournament and he's kind of unimpressed. Like, they can't even fly, at least not like him. There's barely any ki blasts, and from their ki that he could sense, it was really weak. Like, if they had power levels, they would probably be in the low hundreds. Maybe not even. And it's a good thing that Bardock took Kakarot away from here, because if things got too bad too quickly, that one child alone definitely would have destroyed this planet. But at least he did get some entertainment. I mean, it was kind of fun. There was a lot of technique involved here, so that was cool. And that kid does seem pretty strong, for a non-Saiyan especially. And Bobo looks over to Vegeta, glad that their first date went so well. Date? What the hell? Oh yeah, he forgot the reason he was brought here in the first place. This is so weird. But then Vegeta senses something strange. He tells him he'll be right back. The others kind of sense it too. Krillin's getting his stuff ready to leave, and someone then attacks him. It's Tambourine. He jumps out, and Krillin's terrified, ready to fight back, but still scared. Tambourine lunges towards Krillin, ready to go for the kill. But someone steps in front of Krillin, piercing his hand through Tambourine's chest. It's Vegeta. Tambourine falls to the ground, and Vegeta casually stands there. He's not protecting Krillin because he has any desire to, but he knows he's friends with these other Earthlings who are allies, and they might lead him to the Dragon Balls, so it's in his best interest to protect this kid. Krillin profusely thanks him, and Vegeta doesn't really know how to react, but again, he acknowledges Krillin. Krillin is absolutely amazed by his power, how casually he did that. And it's really strange for Vegeta because now it seems like this kid's gonna try to look up to him. Hey, you know what? That's kinda nice. He brings Krillin back to the group and they tell everyone what went on. They're under attack by King Piccolo's forces. King Piccolo is still awakened, but there's a big issue here for him because the Dragon Balls aren't active right now. And Vegeta's on Earth, so that's another big issue for him. Why is that? Well, because right now, it's in Vegeta's best interest to protect Earth. And this is a really simple task. He goes around killing Piccolo's children, They look freaky as hell, they are demons after all, but something about them is familiar, and he can't really put his finger on what it is, until he gets to King Piccolo himself. That's what it is. He's not a demon, he's a Namekian. He must have something to do with the Dragon Balls, so he makes sure to defeat him but not kill him. He wants to keep him alive just in case he's related somehow, and Vegeta asks, what does he know about the Dragon Balls? King Piccolo is mortified, being defeated so easily. And he does know about the Dragon Balls, telling Vegeta, if he kills him, the Dragon Balls will go away too. He's linked to them after all. He used this as a bargaining chip, but really this means Vegeta's just gonna take him as a hostage now. This guy's evil, so he doesn't really care, and he's related to the Dragon Balls, so he needs to keep him alive for the time being. He drags Piccolo to the rest of the group. Okay, he defeated this guy, and he doesn't want to kill him. And they just look on stunned. He defeated King Piccolo. King Piccolo, that guy that was rumored to be so destructive. Yeah, this guy's really weak in comparison to him. They realize how far beyond Vegeta is. Holy crap, this guy is strong. Vegeta actually chuckles at this. It gives him kind of an ego boost. Yeah, these people are weak, but he's looked at as basically a god to them. And he tells them, this is the great power of Prince Vegeta. Prince Vegeta? This makes Bulma even more elated. She's gonna be a princess. Vegeta recoils again, not really knowing how to react to this, but again, she is kind of attractive, and she'd wish him here as a perfect boyfriend, so if the dragon thought they'd be perfect together, hey, who knows? As they're figuring out what to do with Piccolo, someone else then steps in, and it looks exactly like Piccolo. They're all mortified, and Vegeta's about to attack him, but the guy tells him to stop. He's not King Piccolo. He can explain this. He looks over to King Piccolo, and Piccolo chuckles. Oh, Kami is here. No matter what he does, he won't stop him. King Piccolo will regain youth and take over this planet. Kami asks him how that's going for him, and King Piccolo has no response. Kami then takes a lot of his energy to seal him away, which allows him to survive, and means they don't have to worry about King Piccolo anymore. Although that was draining, but it still worked. And he asks who Vegeta is. He knows that he's been here because he sensed him after all. And he wants to know why Vegeta wants the Dragon Balls. He can sense maliciousness within him, although it's subtle. It's like it's changing somehow. But they say Vegeta can't be malicious, he saved them after all. But Vegeta begins explaining more about who he is and his backstory. But even though he was a bad guy before, he could change, and Gohan even comments too. Look at what they did. They killed Frieza. He was a terrible guy, at least from what he knows. Yeah, that's kind of true. And even though Vegeta has maliciousness in his heart, maybe they could trust him. And Gohan says, if he's anything like that Bardock guy, well, Bardock seemed like a pretty good person from what little he knew of him. And Vegeta seems great too. And Bulma, even though she's embarrassed, reveals what she wished for. Shenron considered him a perfect boyfriend for her. He must be good. And with all this deliberation going on, Vegeta then senses something nearby, with everyone else looking on too. There's a bunch of strong powers coming to Earth, and Vegeta can recognize who it is. It's the Saiyans. He tells them they're here. He gets why they're suspicious of him, but he said they could judge for themselves. They'll get to meet these warriors in person, and they watch as the ship lands nearby, with Gohan looking on as Bardock steps off with that kid Kakarot from before. Grandpa Gohan's there. I guess really we shouldn't call him Grandpa Gohan because he's not anyone's grandpa. So Gohan here. It's weird to get used to, but Gohan greets Bardock and Kakarot. Seeing them, he immediately recognized the two, and he's glad to see them. Not only to see that Bardock's okay, but that kid that he found before. He's grown up a bit. I mean, he's still small. He's still a child, kinda, which is weird because it's been a while since he saw him, but he just guesses that Saiyans age differently. And Kakarot actually does remember him. I mean, Saiyans have really good memories, so it's nice to see this guy too. The guy that basically saved his life, because otherwise, well, he would have been destroying the planet and someone would have probably come along and tried to kill him. And everyone else meets the rest of the Saiyans. All the humans there get to meet up with them. This is technically an alien invasion, isn't it? It's kind of freaky. But at the same time, I mean, Vegeta's been pretty cool. A little cold, but pretty cool still. And he did help save them after all. From what they could tell, the Saiyans aren't really great people, but these guys, they're kind of exceptions. I mean, look at what happened with them. They learned all about Frieza and everything that's been going on with the Saiyans, and why specifically they decided to come here. Besides just getting Vegeta back, they also did want to find more of the Dragon Balls, if there were any sets anywhere else. They didn't even know there were any on Earth. They would have looked here right away because Bardock already knew about this planet, but it's great that they're here. Of course, they're going to have to wait a year, but that's fine. They know the Dragon Balls are here, and everyone can trust each other, it seems, which is great. So, while they wait for the Dragon Balls to come back, what are they supposed to do? They could wait here or go somewhere else in space, and it's not really worth the trip back here after how long it took. To be fair too, this planet is much nicer than the planet that they were on, and they could use a nice change of pace. This is a developed place, and it seems decently peaceful, compared to all those civilizations where people are just constantly at war and whatever. Not that this place is perfect at all, but hey, they can see it working here. And the humans are very inviting. After Vegeta helped save them, and Gohan's prior knowledge of them too, they're fine with the Saiyans staying here, especially after everything they've just been through. When the Earthlings think about it, they kind of did them a favor because they didn't know about this Frieza guy. Who knows, he could have come to Earth eventually and taken it over. And they definitely wouldn't have stood a chance. The Saiyans are fine staying here as long as they have good places to train, and Bulma says she could help, especially for her new boyfriend. Vegeta's still weirded out to hear that he's a boyfriend, but he's also kinda into it. He doesn't know if he likes this Bulma woman, but kinda he does. It's gonna work out, don't worry. Anyways though, Vegeta did mention before that the gravity here on this planet is weak, and she remembers a tidbit bringing it up. Well, if the gravity here is weak, why not increase it? She can create a room probably that changes the gravity for everyone. Oh, that would be great. They could train 10 times gravity. No, not just that. She can make it go even higher. She could probably make a room that makes 20 times, 30, 40, 100 times gravity. So it would be even better than what Planet Vegeta was like. And yeah, they'd definitely be up for this. That would be a really cool and efficient way to train. They didn't realize the humans were actually this advanced. Of course, they've seen crazier stuff, but this is a really good idea. Hopefully it works out, and it does. Bulma's able to make the room, and everyone begins training in that. Kami's also intrigued by the Saiyans. He judges them. Well, he looks into their minds and stuff, trying to sense any sort of evil within them, and of course, it is there. He knows their history. They were pretty upfront about it, especially Vegeta. But he could tell now, something's changing within them. They do have that maliciousness within them, it's kind of inherent. But they also are becoming good. It seems like they're fighting for a noble cause, which they are. And their mission has been accomplished. Right now, they have no ill will. Even Vegeta softened up a bit, which is surprising because he only just recently joined the rebellion. Seeing Frieza die really helped him out too, but also being on this Earth for a while, it was nice. As for training, the humans do kind of want to join, such as Krillin. But the training for the Saiyans is way beyond the level of anyone here. He even tries to train with Kakarot and Granola a bit. They're kids and they're kind of around his age. Krillin's definitely a lot weaker compared to them, but they do like training with him. He seems pretty smart as a fighter, so maybe he can teach them a few things. And it will benefit Krillin too. Krillin's got kind of a weird outlook on the Saiyans here. This is kind of shown in the last part, but he actually kind of admires them, especially Vegeta after seeing everything he's done. You also gotta remember, Vegeta literally just saved his life too. If Vegeta weren't there, Tambourine would have killed Krillin. He might not be the nicest or softest guy, but he's good. Krillin likes him, and his power, it's insane. All the other Saiyans are just like him too, and apparently Vegeta's not even the strongest. That Bardock guy is. And that same guy, Bardock, he could transform. His hair turns golden and his eyes turn blue or something, and he's crazy powerful when he transforms. They've never seen anything like it. They've seen transformations, but not like this. The rest of the group actually starts admiring the Saiyans too, which is funny because no one ever really admires the Saiyans, because they are genocidal maniacs after all, or at least they once were. But now, they're completely different. This rebellion, it not only helped them defeat Frieza, but it changed them as people. Even the harshest of the Saiyans, at least the ones that are still alive. Vegeta's a perfect example of this. Imagine if he was teleported here to Earth before he joined that rebellion and saw Frieza defeated. Earth would have probably been blown up instantly, as long as Vegeta had an escape plan. Jokes aside though, the humans of course don't know how much they've changed truly, but the Saiyans do know. It's such a weird path for them. They never would have thought they'd end up here. Well, the fact that they're alive at all is crazy too. Not just surviving Planet Vegeta's destruction, but also killing Frieza, or at least taking part in it. And as I did mention, the humans are obviously way behind in terms of training, specifically Krillin. This also kind of puts things in perspective with how strong the Saiyans are. Hair the two and you see what I mean, like look at the story here on Earth. It's still pretty early on, we're not even at the 23rd World Tournament yet. And we already have someone who's a Super Saiyan, and the rest of the Saiyans are really powerful thanks to all their great training and such. They're years ahead of where they should be in terms of strength. And even if they weren't, the Saiyans would be strong regardless in comparison to the humans, but I digress. As they wait for the Dragon Balls, the training gets more and more intense. Utilizing gravity training is actually pretty great, and they're able to work their way up pretty quickly. In the meantime, this is a great way for them to get stronger. And actually, being here instead of on that planet that they were on, this is better. Of course, they do have the resources too. They did bring their healing pods and such, just in case. Combine that with more intense training here, and the prior knowledge and experience and power that they got from fighting Frieza, and you got a pretty good combo. This of course really helps out Krillin too, and Roshi's glad to see his student grow so strong. Gohan's just amazed too. Same for Kami. He keeps an eye on the Saiyans just in case, and it seems like they're pretty much okay. Even if Krillin ended up training with him, he even acknowledges that training with the Saiyans was probably better for him. Look how strong he's gotten. Oh yeah, and Vegeta and Bulma do end up together. Vegeta's a little weirded out first still, but eventually he does warm up to it. The two blend together pretty well. I mean, we saw this in canon. Even though this is earlier on, Vegeta has softened up a little bit thanks to the rebellion. He's still pretty harsh, but if anyone could tame him, it would be Bulma. And after all this time training and waiting, the Dragon Balls eventually do come back. So, they go on a nice little hunt. With the Saiyans there, it's actually pretty easy. They're so fast that they're able to fly around the Earth really quick. And that's another thing, the fact that they could fly too. They've seen people fly before, but the Saiyans do it so efficiently. And it's something that Krillin's able to pick up on. And probably Yamcha too. I am going with the idea that Yamcha's still training here and probably would end up with Roshi at some point. So whenever I've been saying humans in this video, I'm referring to Krillin and Yamcha. Tenshinhan and Chaozu are pretty much out of the picture, due to how everything has changed so far. Tangent aside, they all gather the Dragon Balls, and then they summon Shenron. It's amazing for everyone to see this dragon. Briefly, they did see the one that Minato summoned, but they were kind of far away and it was in the middle of a big fight. They're seeing this one up close, and he's different. It's Shenron. This is insane. They can't believe what they're seeing. And they were worried that they could only wish back one person at a time, but no. They can actually wish back the entire group at once. Oh yeah, and short note here. So, I know Shenron can't bring back a group of people if they've been dead for more than a year. It would probably have to be one at a time, but just to make things simpler, let's say this happens. Who knows, maybe Kami could have upgraded the Dragon Balls, Shenron's feeling generous, something like that. There's been crazier wishes made in the series, so this isn't too outlandish. And also, come on, Shenron's not going to be that strict. It's been over a year, but like a year and a month, not like multiple years. We'll let this slide here. Anyways, Shenron grants the wish, and everyone's brought back. Although, obviously they're not going to be brought here. They're revived at the place they died, on that same planet that they fought Frieza on. Oh, so they can't actually confirm that anything happened, but they trust his word. I mean, it's a giant dragon that just appeared out of thin air, so they can't say it's wrong. They didn't account for this though, but whatever, they were going to go back there anyways. At least, some of them were planning to. Obviously, they want to see the rest of their group and all, but some of them are actually deciding that they want to stay here on Earth, specifically Vegeta. Honestly, he doesn't really care about sticking around the group too much anymore. Yeah, it's nice being with the Saiyans and all, especially training with them, but here on Earth, he has better training facilities already. Plus, his girlfriend's here, so he wants to stick around. It's so weird seeing Vegeta be like this, but Vegeta frames it so it mostly seems like he just wants to stay here to train. Also, he mentions the Dragon Balls, saying that he wants to get immortality, but that's not going to happen. It's really for Bulma. It's a weird decision for him too, but also consider the fact that there's no Frieza left. He's not working for an army and he has no obligations. And since Frieza's defeated, why does it matter if he stays here and trains instead of out there? He can do whatever he wants. And he does make a good point. As for the rest of the Saiyans, they decide they're going to go with Bardock. Especially Raditz because, like I mentioned before, he does want to take this opportunity to get to know his family better. He's gotten to spend some good time with Bardock and Kakarot, but Guinea, he doesn't really know too well. He probably knows her better than Kakarot, but he also had this entire year with Kakarot here. And again, he doesn't really want to take these things for granted anymore, especially after what I mentioned before. But there is one person that makes a really surprising choice to stay on Earth. It's actually Kakarot. And Bardock wonders why he wants to do so, but Kakarot explains. Well, it's kind of like what Vegeta said. Training here seems fun. And as weird as it sounds, he's kind of found a friend in that Krillin guy. But also, part of it is his rivalry with Granola. Wait, what? Why would staying here help that? Well, he feels that a different kind of training would actually help him. That's another important note that I hope you guys remember here. Kakarot and Granola have been rivals for a while. They're around the same age, have been training together, and are around a similar strength. And Kakarot feels this would benefit him best. Imagine if they have an all-out battle later on and Kakarot gets so much stronger than anyone could have imagined. Of course, he's working towards Super Saiyan. And he does have Vegeta here too. He'll come back and visit his family eventually, but for some reason he feels like here on Earth, maybe he could learn a few nice things. Yeah, the Earthlings are weak, but they're definitely knowledgeable. And Bardock acknowledges this too. Yeah, Kakarot's right. It might be an odd choice, but he respects it. It's very good for Kakarot to be independent too, and unlike Raditz, he spent enough time around his family and the other Saiyans. As for Raditz, it would be a change of pace going with the Saiyans, but for Kakarot, staying here would be a change of pace. Vegeta and Kakarot check if anyone else wants to stay, but everyone else just decides to go back. They'll find some other place. That's on Bardock's mind right now. He wants to find a more permanent settlement for the Saiyans. I mean, maybe they could come here and live here amongst the Earthlings, but that would be kind of intrusive, he thinks. Also, they've been very hospitable for them for the past year or so, and he's very grateful for that, so he doesn't really want to go beyond that. I mean, they've also been living out of Capsule Corp. It feels kind of wrong. They could find their own place out in space. A new permanent residence of the Saiyans. And at that point, Kakarot and Vegeta can come find them. Of course, they're not going to completely create the Saiyan race again. That's pretty much impossible at this point, but there's got to be a place for them to stay. Somewhere that they can call home for the rest of their lives. And beyond that, obviously Bardock does want to go back too. Seeing all of his squad mates that have been revived, and most importantly too, seeing Guinea again. They came all the way here to Earth for them after all. And with his connection to them, he's not going to miss the opportunity to see them again. So for now, Kakarot and Vegeta are going to part ways with the Saiyans. The group says their goodbyes, wishing each other luck. They don't know when they're going to return, but it will be eventually. But for now, Kakarot and Vegeta are going to start this new adventure on Earth. Probably not together, but they're still going to be on the same planet at the same time. and they will be crossing paths. And it's weird. Vegeta actually doesn't know Kakarot too well. Maybe this will be a better chance to get to know him. For a low-class warrior, especially one that's the son of Bardock, that same guy that was so strong, it could be interesting to get to know him better. He's still got a lot of room to grow. And he wonders, was Bardock a fluke, a low-class warrior getting that strong? Was that just a one-time thing? Or is that something that's going to happen again with Kakarot, maybe even Raditz too? Who knows? Only time will tell. Vegeta resumes his training in the gravity room, while Kakarot, he finds a new place to go to. Krillin feels like he might enjoy the Turtle School. And hey, maybe later on they could even go see Kami. This type of training won't be focused on pure strength. That's what Vegeta's focused on right now. As for Kakarot, he wants to get Super Saiyan like his father, and he feels that maybe this would be a nice way to get it, going a different route, looking more towards technique and such. It's a weird choice, wanting to become a better martial artist. But hey, no one's gonna knock him for it.
So why am I cutting it off so early? Well, the whole point of the scenario was the rebellion, and the rebellion ended, and now I've set up everything that's gonna happen afterwards. This part will cover some more. There are gonna be some battles, there's gonna be some action, and there's gonna be some setups for future stuff. But if the focus of this what if is the rebellion itself, then there's not really any point covering the stuff after it. Sure, the effects of it might be important, but it honestly just feels like treading water to me, and I don't really need to drag this out. Especially with so many characters here, and no real end goal anymore, it's a fair pace to end it off. So let's start off with a time skip. Since the last part, a couple years have passed, probably a decade by this point actually. And definitely a lot has changed. First, let's talk about Earth. So, Kakarot and Vegeta have stayed there. As for Kakarot, he actually did end up meeting someone that he bonded with pretty well. That person is Chi-Chi. At some point, they would cross paths. And as all Saiyans are, he's attracted to a strong woman. So Kakarot still ends up with the same person, even though he's a different person pretty much. Oh yeah, he and Krillin remain friends too. They encounter strong foes such as androids, but they breeze through it together. Thanks to the help from Kakarot and Vegeta, a lot of these threats on Earth aren't a problem. Remember what I mentioned last time? They're already so far ahead of everyone, and that's kind of the reason I'm ending it so early, because everything is so far ahead that none of the battles are really going to be too worth covering. But yeah, Kakarot and Krillin, they're still friends. That's a bond that's not going to go away. Even with the greatly different circumstances of the scenario, they still find a friendship here. Although, Kakarot has a very different rival. It's not Vegeta, and it's not Krillin, it's Granola. The two of them still do remain rivals. Occasionally Kakarot is going to be leaving Earth, going to visit family in space. And Vegeta occasionally does the same too, but mostly Kakarot, since he has a connection with this group more so than Vegeta. He's glad that his family's living a peaceful life, but of course, he does want to spar sometimes. Oh yeah, and Chi-Chi does want to meet the family, and it's a pretty nice honeymoon to go out in space. But Kakarot's able to check up on his friends there, and with his newfound strength, he's able to test it out against his greatest rival, Granola, and the two of them are still pretty close. They're each glad to see that the other is growing in strength, but also glad to see that the other is living a fulfilling life. So what's happening with everyone else though? That's just Kakarot. As for Vegeta, well, he's chilling on Earth. He's still doing training, and we'll cover him a bit more. But as for the Saiyans that aren't on Earth, let's start with Bardock. Remember, he's immortal here. Another reason why a lot of the opponents he faces aren't really going to be a big deal. He is immortal. Nothing's going to kill him. His training becomes incredibly intense, and his strength, it's massive. It goes way beyond where he ever could have expected it to go. I mean, combine immortality with Zenkai's, and you got a really deadly combo right there. And of course, the Saiyans don't really have too much to do otherwise. They're living normal lives and just having a peaceful time, but they still do want to train. It's in their blood after all. They love fighting, and they love sparring with each other. And it's great for Bardock. He's essentially a living punching bag. It's not really that amazing. I mean, he's still going to feel the pain of it. But he grows really strong by training like this, and it lets him train at much higher levels without having to worry about his safety, because there is no such thing as that anymore. He's safe regardless. He's not going to let the power get to his head. He was worried at first about the wish, but since it did help him defeat Frieza, he's fine with it, and it was kind of a last resort. Minato made the right choice here. And if he feels it's bad, he could always reverse it, and the other people can too. They have access to the Dragon Balls. But Bardock's actually going to utilize this as a training tool. Unsurprisingly, being immortal is a really great tool in training. The rest of the group flourishes as well. Oh yeah, and by now, everyone's definitely going to have Super Saiyan. With this great time skip, there's going to be a certain point where some people would start to earn it. Vegeta, Kakarot, and Raditz would be some of the first, as the others follow suit. Even the members of Bardock's squad and Gide are going to be getting it too. Thankfully, they don't have to utilize this power, but it's nice to have it as insurance. It's funny because according to what Kakarot's saying, Earth has had way more threats than anyone out here in space. After the defeat of Frieza, they haven't really come across anything too amazing. At least not up until now. After one of Kakarot's visits, he and Vegeta leave going back to Earth. And there are two villains watching. Well, I'm not really sure if we should call them villains. You'll see who I mean. They're not sure how many Saiyans just left, but they know that the group is split up, and this is a perfect time to strike. 2 ships land on the planet, 2 familiar faces. It's Paragus and Broly. Paragus has tried to hone Broly's power as much as possible, and he tells Bardock he's here for his revenge. And now, this is something that Bardock didn't really expect. He completely forgot about them out in space, and Broly might actually be a formidable foe. Paragus? Nah, he's not going to care about him. But Broly? Yeah, he might be tough to deal with. So, Bardock gets ready to fight, with the rest of the group also following. And Paragus can already tell, they have gotten stronger, but like Bardock said, he told Paragus he would kill him next time he comes here, if he hadn't calmed down. And of course, he hasn't calmed down. Well, whatever. Bardock's not going to feel bad about this then. He gave Paragus his warning, and he told him again. If this is how Paragus wants it to be, then so be it. Paragus sicks Broly on everyone, and Bardock goes in alone. He tells everyone to let him handle this. Of course, they would love to fight Broly, but he's unpredictable and strong. It's too dangerous for them. For Bardock, it's nothing at all. Well, at first it kind of is an issue. Broly has his wrathful form now. Something that he's had, but now he has better access to it, better control in it. It's not like he's mastered it or anything, he still is a little bit berserk with it, but the power of it is all that really matters here in this battle. He doesn't care that it takes control of him, or at least Paragus doesn't. He wants Broly to utilize this form. Worst case, he'll just be electrocuted. And the fear of that is essentially what led Broly to getting better control over this form. Control equals no electrocution. It's a very terrible way of training him, but it did work. And Bardock takes note of this too. Broly is stronger, but he wonders at what cost. He knows Saiyans are cruel, but he can't believe Paragus would treat his son like this, just over some petty grudge. Broly does have the upper hand at first, even with Bardock having Super Saiyan. And something weird happens mid-battle, something that Paragus didn't expect. He welcomes Broly to attack him, and Broly begins attacking with all his might. And Bardock is taking the full force of every single hit, and Paragus just watches on. Why is he doing that? Is he stupid or something? Does he have a death wish? This definitely isn't something he could handle. He can't just be cocky and take all of Broly's attacks. That's such a stupid strategy. And the rest of the group watches on too, pretty unamused, and Paragus wonders why they don't care. Bardock is dying. Broly is mutilating him right now. He tells Bardock he always thought he was insane, but not this insane. Really? He's the insane one? He asks Paragus to think about what he's really saying, and this only pisses him off even more. But as Paragus continues watching this beatdown, he sees Bardock is healing. Every time he takes some significant damage, it just restores. He's healing somehow, instantly in fact. Everything Broly is doing is accomplishing pretty much nothing. Broly is getting frustrated, getting a little bit stronger too as he gets angrier. But at some point, Paragus has to call it off. He doesn't want Broly to die here, so he pulls out the remote, electrocuting Broly, noticing that he's losing control of himself. And Bardock tells him why he'd do that. He was about to stop Broly himself with his own power, the power that he just collected from this beatdown. Paragus demands to know right now what just happened, and Bardock explains. They're not going to defeat him that easily. First, he explains the fact that he's immortal, and then he explains why he's immortal. They defeated Frieza. He was right. Paragus is wrong. And the best part is, Vegeta actually did help them. He was so against having Vegeta help, but really, Vegeta was a better asset than Paragus could have ever been. And Bardock says too, Paragus had his chance. Right now, he's not an important asset. They can kill him right now and that wouldn't really even matter. Just because he's a Saiyan doesn't mean they need to keep him alive. It would be better to just kill him off right now. But Bardock isn't some cold-hearted brute anymore. Unlike most Saiyans, he's grown to actually have a heart here, or at least be more logical, and he gives Paragus one last chance. He sees that Paragus is infuriated. And even though he didn't physically defeat Paragus, which he could do pretty easily, he did mentally defeat him. He could tell. Paragus has given up. And Bardock hopes that he can think rationally right now, so he gives Paragus one last chance. Join them, or he and Broly will both die here and now, because there's no other reason to keep them alive. It'll be a risk if anything. As much as he hates to do it, Paragus does admit defeat, and he says he'll stick with them. He doesn't want to admit it, and he won't admit it.
Prijswijzigingsbedingen opgenomen. Die moeten voldoen aan regels van het Europese Hof van Justitie. En dat doen de meesten niet.
Dat zit zo. Sinds 1993 bestaat de Europese wetgeving ter bescherming van consumenten. In 2013 geeft het Europees Hof van Justitie verstrekkende uitleg aan deze regels. Als bedrijven een prijsverhoging willen, moet dat al in de overeenkomst staan
Talk to me. Glad I could help. Yo! Keep it real.
Alright, well that's that. Cool.
Hey, yeah. Keep it real. Talk to me. Hurry back.
Bravo. See.
Met een geldige reden zijn en met een heldere tekst, zodat de consument de financiële gevolgen kan begrijpen. Rechters hebben al een streep gezet door renteverhogingen van banken en een tariefsverhoging van Vattenfall, omdat die niet aan de wetgeving voldoen. Of dit verkeerd gaat bij de Nederlandse huurcontracten, moeten de rechters nu gaan toetsen.
Voor huurovereenkomsten kan dit betekenen dat alle prijsverhogingen die de afgelopen jaren zijn doorgevoerd onderuit gaan als niet aan deze voorwaarden van het Hof van Justitie is voldaan. En dat kan betekenen dat er duizenden euro's moeten worden terugbetaald.
We hebben hoogleraar en rechter Marco Loos gevraagd om naar verschillende huurcontracten te kijken.
Er zijn ontzettend veel verschillende contracten. En het ene contract is beter geformuleerd, netter, juister dan het andere. Er zijn bepalingen in modelcontracten die echt van geen kant deugen. En er zijn ook bepalingen die heel keurig netjes aangeven hoe het moet.
Hoe weet ik dan als huurder waar ik aan toe ben?
Dat kan je nauwelijks zelf beoordelen. Maar een vuistregel is, als je niet begrijpt wat je leest, kan er wel eens iets mis zijn.
We nemen de proef op de som. Snapt Louise wat er in haar contract staat?
Indien het gehuurde zelfstandige woonruimte met een geliberaliseerde huurprijs betreft, wordt de gewijzigde huurprijs berekend volgens de formule: de gewijzigde huurprijs is gelijk aan de geldende huurprijs op de wijzigingsdatum, gedeeld door het indexcijfer van de 16e kalendermaand. Die ligt voor de kalendermaand waarin de huurprijs wordt aangepast. Nog veel meer? Of? Zo, ik snap er echt helemaal niks van.
Heeft u enig idee op welke basis bij u de prijsverhoging mag worden doorgevoerd?
Nee, ik weet het niet. Het is gewoon iets wat ze doen en ik heb dat gewoon te betalen. En verder, nee.
Goed, ik heb hier het contract van mevrouw Arends.
Hoogleraar Marco Loos heeft het contract van Louise Arends ook onder de loep genomen.
Ja, dan staan de huurprijswijzigingen in artikel 5. Nou, wat je ziet hier in ieder geval is dat er een reeks van bepalingen staan die voor een deel naar voren verwijzen, voor een deel naar achteren verwijzen, die allemaal met elkaar samenhangen, zonder dat precies wordt aangegeven hoe dat zit. En dat je eigenlijk alleen maar kunt zeggen dat de gewone huurder hier eigenlijk geen touw meer aan kan vastknopen. Dat betekent dat dit beding oneerlijk is.
Wat heeft dat voor consequenties voor mevrouw Arends?
Ik denk dat mevrouw Arends een hele goede kans heeft dat als zij hiermee naar de rechter zou gaan, dat de rechter deze bepalingen over de huurprijsverhogingen zou vernietigen. En dat betekent dat verdere huurprijsverhogingen niet meer mogelijk zijn en dat huurprijsverhogingen van de afgelopen jaren terug moeten worden gedraaid.
Het zou heel goed van pas komen. Ja, en dat zou misschien mogelijk maken dat ik hier nog een tijdje kan blijven wonen. Dat ik niet zo heel hard hoef te zoeken naar een andere woning. Dat zou heel fijn zijn. Ja.
En ook het prijswijzigingsbeding in het contract van Ferry en Marianne is niet te volgen en voldoet niet volgens Marco Loos.
Nou, hier is een uitgebreid huurprijswijzigingsbeding opgenomen, waarin simpelweg staat in de eerste plaats dat het aangepast kan worden aan de inflatie. En daarbovenop staat hier, kan het bedrag nog worden vermeerd met een opslag volgens het huurprijsbeleid van de verhuurder, zoals dat geldt op 1 juli van het jaar waarin de huurprijswijziging plaatsvindt. En dat wordt jaarlijks vastgesteld, dat percentage, en bedraagt ten hoogste 3%. Op basis daarvan weet je niet wat het beleid is van de verhuurder en wanneer gebruik wordt gemaakt van die mogelijkheid. En dat betekent dat de gemiddelde huurder niet kan begrijpen wanneer zijn huur wordt verhoogd boven de inflatie en wat dan de hoogte daarvan zou zijn. En dat mag natuurlijk niet.
We leggen de bevindingen van Marco Loos voor aan de Woonbond.
Ja, alle afspraken tussen verhuurder en huurder moeten gewoon duidelijk zijn. Voor ieder normaal mens te begrijpen. En dat is in dit geval absoluut niet duidelijk. Het is logisch dat commerciële verhuurders er alles aan doen om zoveel mogelijk huurinkomsten te krijgen. Maar op deze manier, die zelfs juridisch waarschijnlijk geen stand houdt, ja, dat is niet hoe het hoort.
Maar om hoeveel huurcontracten gaat dit?
Oh, dit gaat om duizenden huurcontracten. Misschien wel honderdduizenden. In elk huurcontract staat een prijswijzigingsbeding. En voor al die bepalingen kan zijn dat er iets mis is.
De Woonbond, belangenbehartiger van de huurders, is van plan om nu actie te ondernemen.
Wij gaan graag met huurders van deze voorbeelden in gesprek om met hen te kijken of het interessant is om een proefproces in gang te zetten. De gang naar de rechter te ondersteunen. En hopelijk dat die uitkomst veel kan betekenen voor andere huurders. En op die manier er compensatie mogelijk is voor te veel betaalde huur.
De verhuurders die bij de voorbeelden uit de reportage betrokken zijn, die zeggen dat ze zich aan de Nederlandse wetgeving hebben gehouden of altijd binnen de maximale wettelijke huurverhoging zijn gebleven. Kijk voor de volledige reactie op onze site. Ik spreek erover met Henk Nijboer, Tweede Kamerlid voor de PvdA. Hartelijk welkom. Volgens hoogleraar Marco Loos voldoen huurcontracten dus vaak niet aan Europese wetgeving. Wat vindt u daarvan?
Nou, huurders zijn eigenlijk de afgelopen 20, 30 jaar in de vrije sector dus boven de €800, wat het nu is, helemaal vogelvrij geweest. Verhuurders mochten huren torenhoog verhogen. En ik ben blij dat er een Europese richtlijn blijkt te zijn die dat eigenlijk verbiedt. Dus ik vind dat heel interessant en ik wil ook dat de minister ernaar gaat kijken hoeveel huurders dit betreft. En of huurders ook geld terug kunnen krijgen van een verhuurder.
Ja, u zegt er blijkt een Europese richtlijn te zijn. Ik vind het heel interessant. U wist hier ook niet van?
Nee, ik hoor dit voor het eerst, of deze week toen jullie contact met mij opnamen. Want ik kende deze Europese richtlijnen niet. Maar die kunnen een grote impact hebben, zien we ook op andere beleidsterreinen. Dus ik wil echt weten hoe dat precies zit. En voor welke contracten dat geldt. Want er zijn heel veel verschillende huurcontracten. En welke huurders mogelijk geld terug kunnen krijgen. Want ze hebben torenhoge huren voor de kiezer gehad.
Juist, ja. Want de verhuurders die zeggen wij houden ons gewoon aan de wet. We zagen in een reportage dat deze Europese richtlijn er al vanaf 1993 is. Dus hoe zou dat dan kunnen dat dat zo lang, ja, eigenlijk niemand daar goed naar gekeken heeft?
Nou, wat ik zei, huurders waren eigenlijk vogelvrij. Ik heb zelf een wet gemaakt die de huurstijgingen maximeert 2 jaar geleden. Dus die is ingegaan, maar die is pas in 2021 ingegaan. Maar bijvoorbeeld ook het puntenstelsel, wat geldt tot €800, dat is nog niet verder doorgetrokken. Dus je ziet dat verhuurders gewoon nog heel erg veel geld voor woningen mogen vragen.
Ja.
Ander probleem is tijdelijke huurcontracten. Samen met Pieter Grimbis van de ChristenUnie heb ik een wet gemaakt om een einde te maken aan de 2-jarige huurcontracten. En gewoon direct vaste huurcontracten als norm te geven. Dat die mensen niet steeds hoeven verhuizen en ook niet steeds huurverhogingen
Ja, u zegt nu 3 punten in
Ja.
1. Ik wil eigenlijk eerst even op dat eerste punt inhaken. Want u verwijst naar die initiatiefwet uit 2021. Waardoor de vrije sector jaarlijks de huur met een maximum mag laten stijgen. Dat was op uw initiatief. Maar dit jaar mochten zij met 4,1% de huren laten stijgen alsnog. Is dat niet te veel?
Ja, dat vind ik veel. Ik heb die wet gemaakt, eigenlijk inflatie plus 1%. Toen was die inflatie bijna 0. Dus ik dacht, nou, dan zitten we goed.
Ja.
Die is gestegen. Toen is het CAO-loon geworden en daardoor is het 4% geworden. Dus het is wat verlaagd. Maar ik vind het nog steeds een forse stijging. En per volgend jaar loopt die wet af, want die geldt voor 3 jaar. En dan moeten we echt het puntenstelsel verder doortrekken. Zodat we echt die huren, die echt veel te hoog zijn in Nederland, ook gaan verlagen in die vrije sector.
Ja, want daar verwijst u naar, net ook al in uw antwoord. Hugo de Jonge, minister, is daarmee bezig. Wat gaat dat puntenstelsel precies veranderen?
Nou, Hugo de Jonge de minister wil het alleen maar voor nieuwe gevallen doen. En ik vind dat bestaande huurders ook betere huurbescherming verdienen. En ik wil ook de grens hoger leggen dan hij. En ik wil ook dat er een verhuurdersvergunning komt. Dus dat verhuurders een vergunning moeten hebben om het huis te verhuren. En als ze zich daar niet aan houden, dat ze boetes krijgen of ook kunnen worden onteigend. Dus er is echt nog heel erg veel werk aan de winkel om de huurdersbescherming te vergroten.
Ja, en tot wat voor huurbedrag per maand kunnen mensen daar dan aanspraak op maken als dat plan van u er zou komen?
Ja, ik wil echt die grens wel verdubbelen, hoor. Dus wel richting €1600. De grens waar je hem legt is natuurlijk altijd een beetje arbitrair. Maar de minister legt hem echt veel te laag. Want ook de mensen in dit filmpje, je ziet het. Je kunt geen kant op. Je kunt geen kant op. En als de huur niet meer betaalbaar wordt, of je gaat wat inkomen achteruit als je pensioneert,